The rain stays mainly in the plain, and the sage should no longer be the rage. Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. We are talking from, where are we? April 24 of 2024. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Helping you answer the fundamental question, what are we here for?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, and which allowed Sylvia and Francine's essences to exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, will exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench on a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello, how is it going?
Doing well. We got on. We're
Fabulous.
here. Yes, there's technical challenges, and I trust, people are made it here. Because, now, do you just, I want to do a not house cleaning. I want to make sure we're getting on here. Do you see chats from both YouTube and Facebook at this time?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, that's good, because I didn't see us on YouTube. That's why I was like, I'm getting nervous. There we are.
I saw Facebook pop up. This is good.
Okay, cool. And now I see us on YouTube. Anyway,
Marvelous.
welcome. Glad everybody made it here. New people, especially. I trust that you're going to enjoy this. This will be some helpful education. And also want to begin by talking a little bit about what we're going to present here and why does it take us so long. Well, there's a lot of fun information to share, and people like to listen, learn, and share with us. So for a quick agenda of what we're gonna do here at this time, we start out by talking about some announcements, and then I follow up with we follow up with how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy, which for those of you that are familiar, now's a good time to start posting in chat. How did you use the philosophy? Then we follow by special prayers and a moment of silence. Then we get to share the trance segments, which is our highlight of our show. We do a short meditation, and then I talk about some closing notes, and then be patient. We'll get to the special prayer ceremony we call the novena. Following that, and I'll describe that a little bit later. And then we talk about what to appreciate for the next week, and we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia.
Fantastic.
And at this moment, I'm a little bit like out of sync because the internet is out of sync and technical things are out of sync. So we're just moving forward here as best we can with what we've got. And we like to light candles, and if it's appropriate, you can light the candle where you're at too. It's that one of those signals to the other side that says, I'm here. Or on a spiritual note, just it's like, letting them know you're connecting and getting that energy out. Let's see. I'm gonna talk a little bit about announcements here. Where if I can find where they went. Please do share, promote, like, subscribe, and click on the bell. Also, what that does, it gets us out, lets everybody else know, helps you be like a minister, and lets other people know what we are sharing here and that it's something could benefit them. I do appreciate everybody that donates. You can go to our website and donate by credit card or Venmo. and Venmo. You could do both if you wanted to. Also, welcome to all the new subscribers and followers. Appreciate your finding us here. Also, if you're interested in reading or special questions by Chris Dufresne, don't miss out on his question specials. You can go on his website and sign up at chrisrightnow.com, and you should get an email notice.
Fantastic.
Let's see. Now we are following with the how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? And yes, I did my homework, but I'm going to ask Kat because it's always fun. Do you want to point, click, Rochambeau, rock, scissors, paper?
I suppose I'll volunteer to say something.
All right.
So I was thinking last week, I thought it was so on the nose how I had said that I had locked my keys in my car right before the show, and I just didn't stress out about it. I was like, we're just gonna roll with it. And then yesterday, I think we had more tech difficulties last week we had more tech difficulties on our show than we ever had. And I was reflecting on it later, and I was like, wow, that's just really interesting. Because I stayed calm, cool, collected from like on the inside. I was just like, oh man, I just want people to be able to get something spiritual and pleasant out of the experience. So thank you everyone for bearing with us last week, and hope that you're able to get something out of the time. I always enjoy just being here and being able to be a part of our community dialogue that we have. That's where I'm coming from. It's just an honor. I love everybody. But I want to say that I was thinking about it. I was like, this is like an unusual amount of things going sideways. And I had somebody comment to me saying like, oh yeah, it's a Mercury in retrograde. And I was like, oh, well then, that is interesting. And so what we have heard about Mercury in retrogrades in the past on the trances is that it is a programmed effect. It is a programmed effect. So I have been actively programming for things to go smooth, for people to have good communication, for people to slow down and just think things through, and just being very, very intentional and proactive about reclaiming this time. I choose not to be a participant in all of this because it is really interesting. Observing Mercury's in retrograde sometimes, just like, this is really fascinating how many things have gone off the rails or sideways or anything like that. So this week, anything that came up that looked like something was going to go wrong interpersonally, between friends or anything like that, I was very proactive about saying like, no, let's just calm down and work this problem and think about how how we can mend this. So like how can we be effective, and just remember the spiritual love that we have for each other, things like that. So that was where I was coming from this week, and I'm just happy to go with the flow, man. Just to invite Francine's energy into my life of just being like, hey, sometimes you just let life take you, and then some of Rahim's energy of saying like, be an active programmer and actively thinking about the smooth direction forward. And that's where I've been over this past week.
Fun. I was like, oh, can I add something in there? Can I answer? I'm like, no, I have to wait my turn.
Oh, please.
Because it's very similar to that. And sorry, I want to get my notes out here to remind me. So mine is thinking about how negativity can affect us.
Sure.
And let's put on the subject of spiritual advancement.
Oh.
What do we remember that happens when your spirituality rises? I haven't done my rhymes here. My tongue twisters for exercise. What happens? What do we know that happens when our spirituality advances or rises? What else comes up to meet it?
Oh, the
Yeah, negativity.
negativity. Yes.
Negativity or events or things that happen that can cause us to be negative. So for me, last week, two computers gave me the blue screen of death repeatedly, all in one day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it aligned also with last week's, having these last week we got mine got so disrupted, so that it disrupted the show. I mean, you were able to continue on and I tried to support, and then all of a sudden like, okay, that's done. And we kind of shuttled off earlier than usual, so
Yeah.
all that in line. It's, to me, that's what's going on. There's, in some form or other, I'm feeling a sense for myself. Yes, there's some advancements going on, some improvements I see for myself, but there's also something else going on in the air too, because that's what's, I think negativity is there on the to give us that challenge, as it were. As our spirituality advances, so does that negativity. Now,
Hmm.
along those lines, so that's something to help say, just as you said, okay, it's just them, not a big deal. We're going to deal with this, move forward, keep moving on, go with the flow kind of thing. What also came to mind just recently is if you get so upset and cash in with and get into the negativity, get caught up in the negativity of the situation and say, "Oh, I don't care. It can't be done," or you lash out in a negative fashion, and you turn and start expelling negative energy, you may get a negative implant.
Mm, yeah.
Now, I don't remember if you've heard it. We've heard it in trance. This was presented to us in trance at some point. A negative implant is like a negative tape that you've learned, from your younger years. Somebody told you you can't do, or this should be done this way. And if you hang on to those things, behavioral overlays, that's what a negative implant is similar to. It's a tape that gets put in your head, and that's where a helpful reason why we want to think of protecting ourselves, keeping ourselves protective, also staying positive, even though when you've got bad circumstances. I recall getting those in the past, and it's like, oh, okay, that wasn't helpful. And you gotta, if and when you do and you recognize it, yeah, it takes some time to get rid of that tape. But that's something, to keep thinking about. And that's one of the easier times for a negative implant to get put in place, is when you're, feeling at your worst in a negative sense.
Yeah, because you just don't have that armor to be able
Right.
to push back instantly and to have it bounce off of you. It's like
Yeah.
weak moment, those little barbs can just sink right in there and
Yep. Yep.
instant. We were reminded, and this is something Reverend Corinne, before she crossed over to the other side, she would say all the time. She's like, "No, you cancel that. You cancel that immediately. The second you hear it, you cancel, cancel, cancel."
Right.
She's so
Right.
emphatic. Like she would just instantly jump on those negative implants, and
If you didn't do it, she was gonna do it to
oh,
you.
she was gonna do it to you. And she would be like in
Yes.
your face. Oh, I adored Corinne. She was so great. But she would just, I was often, like, even years of knowing her, I would still be taken aback by just how emphatic she would jump on those negative implants. Just like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, you cancel. Like, you just do, like, she's just scared it away.
Right. Right. If you
Scared it
didn't,
away.
she did. Yeah.
If you didn't deal with it, she was going to scare it out of you.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
great. Oh,
Yeah. That
man.
was funny.
It
That was
was
funny.
so funny. Just
So that's the idea of helping us, each of us, being positive.
yeah.
and reducing those the negative thoughts and undoing those tapes and helping helping keep us clean or cleansing if you want. I
Yes.
mean, even we can hear. I've heard Chris Dufresne posting up some shorts right along those lines. It's the negativity, the thinking negative, on continuing to feel miserable is affects you physically. Your health.
It does, and that was something that we talked about last week when we were reading from the Mystical Traveler book. Is that third ray of God? Sylvia wrote about how the color is green, but I was always confused about that because she said like the purpose of this ray is to dispel negativity, and I was like, but why is it green then? Isn't some other color supposed to do that? But since we talked about it last week, and it just has continued to make more and more sense that in the context of what we've learned about cell memory and how it works, whether an illness is a charted experience versus if it can be minimized or just neutralized entirely,
Right.
is that okay? If that actually does make sense. So if green is coming into our proximity with the purpose of healing, then a significant part of that is getting rid of any negativity so that health can come back.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
by the way, you can add you can blend green and orange for emotional healing.
yes, I love orange. I lose my mind every time I see California poppies. I don't know if anyone. I do. My husband,
Yeah.
like, if he sees one, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to stop." I'm like, yes, we are going to have to stop. I just lose my mind. I can't put into words how happy California poppy. If anyone who's not on the West Coast, I apologize for the reference, but these are vivid, the most vivid orange.
Yeah.
They're just living with this color. It is. It just takes my breath away.
They scream orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
California girls.
Yeah.
Just, oh gosh, I'll lose it. Oh man.
What have listeners shared?
Yes, my husband just commented saying this is true. We do have to stop. Okay. So, comments that we have. I'm scrolling all the way back, seeing everybody's names is wonderful. Beth shares, I went to a New Life church and just to get out and do something and be with some other people. My daughter invited me. I'm a very spiritual person, but I feel like I needed something more. I can understand with that and relate to that experience. Totally get it. I will just pray that more spiritual people, just in some capacity, just continue to try to find ways into your path, whatever that looks like. But thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Aaron says, question, is the membership that you see on the Novus Spiritus website the same as membership for Chris?
No. So a Novus and Chris and Sylvia Browne group are two separate entities. So you want to go to their if you want to join their membership, yeah, go to their website or go to their YouTube channel. They have members. I think they still have membership on YouTube. We haven't quite got enough subscribers yet on YouTube to create the membership, and there's other things going on as well that over time there'll be. We've been talking about and unfortunately slowly progressing on our subscription service for lots of different archive material that is going to be available. We finally decided on what those tiers are going to be. So that'll be, it's something for the near future. I wouldn't hold your breath, and don't sit on the edge of your seat because you'll fall off. But yes, it's in the works, and we're working on it. I hope that answered.
Yeah, it's a lot of material to get through, but we are working on it. Yes, and yeah, okay, thank you. Gardens shares, I could stand to calm down and take it slow and just relax and go with the flow. Yes. I love Francine's quote of sometimes the only choice is to just let life pull you when you don't have enough information. It's like, okay, how can I make how can I make an informed choice if I'm not informed? Sometimes, okay, I think about Francine
That's
saying,
and I think of that as an exercise in stopping, quieting your mind, and asking the question and going with the first thing that comes to mind.
fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Beth shares, I am also not declining too many invitations. Oh, if that's something that you are working on to try to get out more, I just cheer that on. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I like to tell people who are trying to work on their social life, or they're working on trying to take more risks after their life has battered them up a bit, and they're trying to, get out there more. I tell people it's like, well, the one thing that the one choice that you do know is going to lead to nothing changing is if you don't step out the door. That's the one choice that we do know. Nothing will change if you don't step out the door. Don't know what's going to happen on the other side of it, but
Yeah.
it's a risk. But congratulations on
Tell
getting
us
up.
about it.
Yeah, tell us about it. What's that experience been
I
like?
mean, program for, okay, I would like to experience something fun, and I'd appreciate some surprise and something that's going to help encourage me to let go of my anxieties as I step out and move forward. Help connect me with people that can walk me through this, even if you want to ask for someone to hold your hand to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
I
you'll
had
be surprised at the discoveries. And oh, by the way, if you were not sure if that was the right suggestion, or ask your guide to show you some clues. It's like, ask your guide to show you clues that, hey, this was the thing, this was the suggestion, this was the I always get when I've asked for it in the past, it's always been some funny reference of something that makes sense to me, but nobody else knows about. That it's a
that's great.
connection for the event, or what I've found, or what that's always a fun coincidences, as it were, because we know there are none.
That's great. That's great. All right, I guess I'll
Anybody
read.
else wants to keep
Yeah.
us dragging through the? I shouldn't say
Love it.
drag us, like.
I
Anybody else want us
love
to
it.
extend this out?
Yeah.
And we're welcome to it. I mean, you're welcome to it. It's just, it's fun, because it's always fun to hear people's experiences,
Oh,
and
it
I think it
is.
helps for new people to say, here are the possibilities. Here are examples. It's not just metaphors and analogies. It's here are some fun stories that
The
we
doing.
experienced, and how can yes, those are available to you too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gardens shares. Tom, I agree. Stay positive, think positive, and cancel an eject button for negative
There
thoughts.
you go.
Next person, Aaron says, use the eject button on your forehead. Yes, and I can hear Corinne in my mind just being like, and your chest, like he's like this,
Yeah, yeah.
cancel everything, so it doesn't get into the heart chakra, doesn't get into the mind chakra, doesn't get a heart chakra, because Francine described it that they'll see the negative implants come into that forehead where she says that is where you want to hit the eject button. But if some of that negativity gets in there, then it goes down and it settles in the heart chakra. So you can do work on both of those. This is good. All right, continuing on. Um, Aaron shares also, Chris also stated that if you live a negative life, then you have to go back and relive that life. That sounds like a drag.
Mm-hmm.
Gibson, hello. She says, took a while to get my computer to work, but I've been listening. Hi, everybody. Hi, Queen. Heather shares, I've been praying on the Trinity hours every day for months now, and I can tell I've been feeling more positive, understanding, and most of all, more protected. That is so beautiful. I'm so glad that you shared that. Esteban says in Spanish, and I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I believe he says that he's from Costa Rica. It is so wonderful to have you here. So you are so very welcome, and we just send you blessings.
Well, read it, what he said.
All right, he says,
can you read Spanish?
Yo ando en lugar cerca del volcán Arenal en mi país, Costa Rica.
Thank you. That's for everybody.
Marvelous. Aaron, every time I've had a big issue, I yell out, Silver Sword, please help Asna. Oh, yeah. You know what's interesting? If I'm having a panicked dream, I will be yelling for Asna's help in my dream. So
cool.
Which makes me happy that it's synced in.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. Ramona had a comment. Oh, where did it go? She said, I'll have to practice patience and tolerance with God's help. The family dynamics are ridiculous since my dad has passed. God bless. And if you have anything that you want to ponder with us as a community, we'll be happy to ponder with you and just send
put a white light around everybody around you, and picture the white lightning rod going through the heads of through all the chakras of each of the people that you're, well, put around everybody in the family. That way everybody's neutralized. That can help with everybody's disruption. And yeah.
Great. Pink mask around their faces so people speak kindly. Just go through all those tools that you feel resonate with you. And we'll keep your family in our prayers. Carmita says she's been volunteering for the elderly, and it's so gratifying. That is amazing. That is so wonderful to hear. Beth elaborates. She says she's been feeling depressed and miserable for about 6 years and isolated. That is, I just want to cheer you on. I know how difficult it is to activate out of that really, really low place once it feels like it's a rut. But just you getting out every day that you're able to do that, even just for a couple of hours, it counts. It absolutely counts, and you just keep hanging on to that. And I'm cheering for you. Been there. It's not pleasant, but
one step at a time. One step at a time, and then give yourself another couple of steps. And
oh, and she says, all smiles in now. Also volunteering with my kids on Saturday mornings at a place called Gifts to Give. That is so neat. Keep us posted. Keep us posted.
Sorry, is that the same person?
Yeah, same person.
Okay. Sorry, that's great.
Yeah.
Sorry, it sounded like two different people when I was hearing it. So,
sure.
But that's great. Getting out. That's one of the best things to help you. It's helping others. Getting out there gets your mind to focus on them and less on you. And you step through that much easier.
Allie over on Facebook says that she's drumming circles. That sounds like something that Allie's been doing. That is so neat. Oh, that's marvelous. What a great idea. I'd love to get back into sound baths and things like that, because I loved it when I did that. Just so a sound bath, if no one's ever experienced this before, it is such a West Coast thing, but you might find it in a city near you. I'm not sure. So you go for a couple of hours and you lay in this you lay on the ground on like a yoga mat or something comfortable, and then you have somebody who is just kind of putting on a really neat performance of like actual Tibetan bells or actual crystal bowls, and you really feel this very deep, wonderful cleansing of like chakras, because that's what we've been told, is that that those metal sounds really do align chakras. So I always try to go find go find those to go to in person, because I think the in-person sound just has that vibration that just feels wonderful. So
plus, I think it also the person that's putting on the performance, it's their energy going into it as well. Adds to that. It's
it
yeah, it's
does. Yeah.
vibrations.
Yeah. Tori on Facebook says, my husband passed recently, and I'm so grateful to know Novus Spiritus. And I can't just underemphasize, and how much love I'm going to keep you in my prayers.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're here, and
Yeah.
just at your own pace, but just try to just keep coming to people that you feel some spiritual grace with, be it friends or here or just anywhere. Just go. Just
And
go.
by all means, if you're looking for tidbit things to keep you going, stick it in the comments or send us a message. We're happy to connect with you one-on-one, because that is challenging.
Yeah, be very happy to connect with you one-on-one. She also adds, it's helping me cope. I hear sage isn't good to smudge. Where can I find sandalwood? Ooh, so we're going to hear more about this today. It's new information for me too, hearing that. Sandalwood, I know it can come in incense, but I have it in essential oils, because essential oils don't give me allergy. But everybody's different, so you just find something that works for you. So just ideas.
Is that the same as a wooden sandal if I burn it?
I don't think so.
Just kidding.
Here's
Okay.
here's my bottle of Hawaiian sandalwood. It's my favorite. Sandalwood is the essence, the scent of Father God, we're told by Rahim, and Rahim's personal scent as well as sandalwood. So, fun facts. Anyway, maybe we could do. Thank you, everyone, for your comments, and maybe.
This is one reason why it takes so long. But that's what we're here for, is sharing, and
community.
everybody gets to learn, just like we do on the other side when we merge. Guess what? We're sharing our essences, we're sharing our experiences. So the more experiences you connect with on the other side and here, the less of the lessons you're going to be potentially subjected to while you're here. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
what do we? Oh, let's see. We did that. Special prayers. So, but I also wanted to preface that with, because I should have done it earlier. Unfortunately, our along the lines of technical problems, we don't have the phone call at this time. The conference call is not available at this time. So that's unfortunate, but it's not you, it's us, or somewhere in here. Anyway, we want to move on to special prayers, and so let's take a moment, visualize in your mind something you've thought of or would like help with, or something that you've seen that you would like to put energy out to and like us to put energy out to also. So this is a conglomeration. We're working together, going to put that energy out. We're going to ask for Mother God, our spirit guides, the cherubim, the seraphim, the hierarchy of angels, to get out there and put some energy out where we see a need. Visualize it, and of course, always ask for the greater good. So let's take a moment of silence. We're going to ask for all of them to put that energy out. Amen.
Amen.
And of course, you can, if these are public, and if you want to, put something in a private form, post something in a private form, you can go to the website to our prayer chain and post a personal private prayer there. Also, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. We did that. I talked about that. Let's see. Now we get to move on to trend segments after Kat decides she's helped enough people with the keyboard.
Teehee. I was just clarifying that Francine says in this trance and last week's trance that we shouldn't use anything that's been used for negative purposes, including swastikas, red candles, sage, and poinsettias. So I was just clarifying that for a question in chat. All right.
Treating positive objects in a negative fashion as
Right.
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you say that? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So we're going to actually listen to the last to the clip
Last
that got
week's,
cut
yeah.
off. Right. Last week's clip that got cut off. So I'm going to recite this again. So the recipe for holy water: sandalwood over sage. Every, quote, black mass uses sage. Don't use red candles. Bermuda Triangle explanation: Pacheco Pass, Bermuda Triangle in Nebraska. The other side comes and gets people who get stuck in portals so that they don't starve and thirst to death in fear. Inside the portals has walls, but it's snowblind white.
Cool. All right. Take notes and let's listen in.
Okay.
And anyone can make holy water. Leave it out for 3 days in the sun. Go out intermittently, make the sign of the cross 3 times, and then add the salt and let it sit in the sun for 3 consecutive days for at least 3 hours a day. Then you pour that into these bottles and you have holy water. Now, why do you use the sun? Why do you use the salt? Because you're bringing light into something, and salt is one of the oldest ingredients in the world, and so is water. And by making the sign of the cross, you're purifying it. A priest doesn't need to make holy water. You can. Yes.
I use sage in the morning to bless the day. Is that okay? Or no?
I wouldn't use sage.
Really?
No. I would use sandalwood.
Okay.
I'm sure nothing can hurt you, Christine, because you're using it with such a pure heart and so much goodness, and you did it with... But I just wouldn't use anything that's been used in blackness.
Oh, okay, because I was using the white sage, and I thought it was like...
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because every black mass, they use sage, and that's the only reason.
Really?
Well, you didn't know that.
And red candles.
And red candles or black candles, and I don't care whether it's Christmas time or not. Don't use red candles. Please do not use red candles. Use a white one and put red tinfoil around it if you have to have it, but don't use a red candle. And there again, we don't want to use anything that's been used time upon time that has given off negative vibrations.
Yeah, just like we wouldn't wear swastika.
No, we wouldn't.
Wouldn't do that.
No.
Even though the American Native Indians used it for years.
But they had it
for
the right way. The
spiritual
swastikas
ceremonies.
used it in the opposite direction.
But the Germans ruined the whole notion for everybody now. So we just don't follow those.
Yes.
There's something that I'm having a hard time understanding in my ministry classes, and Linda, poor thing, has tried to help me so many times, and I just can't get it. I don't understand the Bermuda Triangle. I understand, Jean has made me understand that it opens.
Yes.
But I don't understand where the people are when they go, because they keep telling me they're not on the side that you're on.
Oh, we get them eventually. Oh, yes, we do. But see what happens. It used to be what it started to be. There's one, strangely enough, in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that opens and closes. Thank God it's more closed than open at Pacheco Pass. The one that Sylvia got a hold of. The one that's in the Bermuda Triangle, that's the most active of all. It was really devised in the early ancient times by the visitors from outer space. They made this as Federal Express chutes in order to transport people from one skyway to another.
It's like Starlight.
So in other words, it was like beam me up, Scotty. But no one from this generation knows how to use it. So when they get caught in there, they don't know how to use it. Besides, they have no vehicles in which to go. So what happens is they stay in there for a while, thumping around, and then eventually, because we know they can't get out because they can't find their way out, we just come and get them. but they're really in what we call a dimensional hole. It's very much like you would call a black hole.
So there's energy in
Energy, yes, and they can't get out.
It's outside of.
But then eventually, because we know they're going to starve or they're going to thirst to death, we just come and get them.
And so for all intents and purposes, they're on the other side.
Sort of, but they're in a dimension that was, it's a space between the two dimensions. And it was really used and it was prepared by the star people. Yeah. Do you remember years ago, are you old enough to remember that when they used to take the money that you would give somebody and put it in a little glass chute and send it up through the wires to go upstairs?
Yeah.
That's what this was.
No, I'm not that old.
It's the same thing, it's a chute. It's a chute. Now, if we had the right vehicle, as some of the other, yes, Andromedans would use, they could get, the Atlanteans, they could get right from one place to another. They could go right to Saturn, they could go to Mars, they could go to anywhere.
Well, thank you, because now I understand that they don't have a vehicle because they don't have the chute to go through.
No.
They,
And they have the chute, but they don't have the vehicle. They don't know how, they just stick there. It'd be like if you were on an escalator and somebody pulled the plug on the escalator, so you're just standing there. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to walk up? Am I supposed to go backwards? What am I supposed to do? Or better yet, an elevator that stops between two floors. What are you supposed to do? You don't know how to get out, see? So we just come and get them. Yes.
Are the pillars of light around Pacheco Pass that I'm putting, is that keeping it closed?
I think that anything keeps it closed, but it's been closed now for about, really closed, for about 10 years. And we hope it doesn't open again. Yes.
Is it in that Bermuda Triangle? Is it pitch black in there, or what
No, in
what
fact,
does it feel
it's pure white. I mean, it's so white that it's almost cloud white.
Snowblind.
Snowblind, yes. It's like a blizzard.
like? So it's just all white, and they're bumping around on white walls.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They're in a no place. There's no space and no time.
Well, no, there actually are walls to it.
They're a wall.
Oh, absolutely. It's a chute. I keep telling you, it's a chute.
There's no time, but there's.
But because you're in human form, eventually you'll start getting hungry. You see what I'm saying? Thirsty. And you couldn't crawl up the wall to get to the to get out. Do you see what I mean? Because once you're on that highway, it's like an Autobahn. You can't get off.
So are you floating around, or are you walking?
Some floated for a while, but they really could grab onto the wall and hold on. But how much eternity would they need to crawl out into, let's say, space? See, it goes all the way out into space.
So they couldn't crawl back.
They could, but the opening closes and opens. And when you're snowblind like that, you don't know whether you're up or down.
There's no sense of direction.
It is scary. It is scary. That's why we don't leave them there long, because we know they won't find their way. And immediately we always hear somebody's caught, and then a guide goes and just pulls them out. I mean, pulls their spirit out.
So the body's left in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Stinks too.
Being that so many of the things that have been developed, twisted by religion, came from something good, and then is purgatory anything that was taken from something?
No, it's just a holding place, or like we call it would be more like the cocooning.
So it really was something, and then they just made it.
Well,
into something
purgatory
we had to
meant
pray
that you
people.
sat in a room and waited till God called you. No, it's somebody with a trauma death. They come through, but we know they're so traumatized, we just take them to the, I guess like you'd call, a place of medical where you take people in, almost like the emergency room, wrap them up and
Stick them in a towel.
and we put them, cocoon them in warm cover like.
Francine, are you aware of the movie Contact that is out now?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Well,
Larry?
Sylvia saw it. I don't know.
I didn't.
She can't see movies. They.
I all I see is the dots.
It is so so much into what you're saying now, Francine, because I remember years ago you telling us about the universe being like Swiss cheese with these.
Oh yes, wormholes.
The last part of the movie, she's in this vehicle, and I had a hard time saying, well, how can a person go so fast and be a body? We're traveling through space at 35,000 miles in a vehicle and it doesn't hurt us. But she goes to the Nuvo, and it's so funny because it's so much brighter than this planet.
Yes.
And Francine, what was so beautiful, and you talked about it, she was here and she would kind of touch something and it would ripple the vibration.
Yes. Oh yeah, everything is living.
And she met her father there, but her father, in coming to her, was off in a distance. He just looked like a fog until he got close to her. Then he materialized into her. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Yes.
But
yes.
what happened is when she went into the black hole, the people on Earth said she just was there for a second. After the end, near the end of the movie, it said, "Well, how are we going to explain the 6 hours of nothingness on this table?"
Oh yeah. Oh
She
sure.
was out for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But she was going through the tube, and it was
Yes.
so
I think it was
reminiscent.
18 minutes. She
You
was
have
in.
to see it.
18 hours. Yes, thank you for that.
Yes, yeah, but it was, yeah, that's true, Gene, because that was, you see how truth is coming out all over the place through the movies, and aren't you proud? Aren't you just puffed up like peacocks to know that you knew all this first? I mean, if nothing else,
I can't think of the actress from Contact, darn it.
Jodie Foster.
There you go. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Oh, I loved that movie.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun references. And for those of you, I want to how do you say, indulge myself, talking about the wormholes. And if you recall from when you could do a drive up at the bank, and there was a little box that opened up, and this funny little chute came out, and they used to have them at Costco recently too. Where you had the little plastic chute, you put your stuff in, close the lid, and stick it back in, and it goes back to the teller on the thing. It's a similar style of things like that. Or if you've ever been at a, I don't know, some of the hardware stores used to have them too. They'd have the clear tube, and they'd stick it in that thing, hit the button, and that tube would go disappear somewhere. That's what it's similar to, these the portals that we're hearing about in the trance. And unfortunately, there's no like button in the showing these. They just open on their own. We don't know why, and people get stuck in them. And so think of as you walk into one of those, or like an elevator. You walk into an elevator, the door closes, and how do you open it again? So now the wormhole, how does that work? And we've heard this from several different sources explaining it, because it's it can be explained in math. Is we've got distances from one place to another, from one planet to another, but it's a long distance. Well, by math, they've learned that you can bend, and instead of having to travel that full distance, you can bend space and go through the wormholes and like pop up right next to where you want to be. And that's what these portals are, that make that connection. Yes, it has a special tool, and it's a special tool and a special vehicle she was talking about to get you through those things. So anyway, that way you're not spending thousands of years to get from here to there. It's a very short distance, just like we see with warp speeds and time travel. And matter of fact, there was another fun episode with Neil deGrasse Tyson. The four of them were geeking out together on one of their latest videos, talking about or podcasts, talking about some of these very things.
Fascinating. Nikki on Facebook says, yes, that is called a pneumatic tube chute.
There you go.
I had no idea. I just remember being so fascinated as a kid. Be like, yeah, let's go to the bank. Let's go to the bank.
Lollipops.
Lollipops gonna
Yeah,
come
we-
back in the tube. That's amazing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, to be young. Scotty, on okay. Some people were commenting saying like, what would they do if they got stuck in one of these chutes? Somebody said, I don't think I've charted all these things just to get stuck in a vortex. I completely agree. That would just be so like what?
Well, you get a free pass to go home, basically.
That's true. That's true. Accidental some shenanigans there. I commented on YouTube saying I'd be yelling for Cardiff to send some Andromedans to come get me. And Scotty
there you
asks, who is Cardiff? Cardiff is a person we've heard about a long time ago. He's an entity on the other side. And sounds like a very advanced person who is kind of like this, who can interface with different galactic parts. So he's like an entity that's on the other side, but he can talk to other people across different. He talks to people across different planetary systems across the universe to just give information. So he's like kind of like a messenger individual. But he's an actual entity. He's an actual person. Thinks that Earth is wild and crazy and doesn't want to live here, and that if we were to have an encounter with a UFO or something, that was the context of that conversation, was to call on Cardiff to I can't think of a reason except if I got stuck in a vortex. Sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear more about the Bermuda Triangle next, and we're going to hear more about how they might be used in the future. So I don't want to spoil or anything, because I'm looking at some of the questions that are popping up already. Tom, do you have any thoughts?
No. Did I? Oh, I did my wormhole example.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's move on to the next segment then, I think. The notes here I have are the Bermuda Triangle, when a child got trapped and an Andromedan rescued the child. Some commentary about the Nebraska portal. Portals can be used with just a cylinder and an atomic propulsion. Singularities. There are way stations in the portal system. And then we're going to hear about the colonization sequence that happened in the distant past.
All right, here we go.
How in the world could anyone pull this out of thin air? See, many mediums can say anything, but that's what I was trying to do, is not only to bring you truth, but to be able to, for you to validate the truth as time went on. That's why I had to scurry and hurry so to get the information out, so you wouldn't think I got the information after the fact. And you can see the copyright on these books, and then go back and check tapes and see at what time I told you this.
Yep.
Yes, Kurt?
I have questions, a couple about the portholes. I know they're not used by us now, but
No.
they're still in use by our friends.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They know how to use them, yes. Now, there was a strange episode, speaking of the Bermuda Triangle, in which a child got trapped. And one of the Andromedas happened to be using the highway at the time, came and got the little boy and took him to Andromeda.
Was that the child in Fact or Fiction who got caught in the closet and disappeared in the closet?
Could be, yes.
Because
Francine doesn't watch TV, so she wouldn't know the reference.
I guess his friends were playing and he went into the closet and they heard him screaming or something like that. They opened the closet and he was gone.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a real true story.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a man that walked outside of his house in Nebraska, and in front of the view of 15 people that were there for a wedding, disappeared in front of their eyes. And for 3 days, they could hear him scream in thin air.
Now, that's just more of fear instead of something really
Sure.
bad happening.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, and not only that, but you see, and we have to have, I know this is going to open up a whole big thing, but please just listen to me. We have to have permission to go get them. And with them flouncing around and being fearful and screaming and yelling, we can't get them. Because we will actually get as near as we can and say, we're here, we're coming to help you, will you just relax? Because only in the relaxation can we pull them through the death experience.
Can I ask one more? This is, in our lifetime, are we going to be able to?
Absolutely, you're going to be able to use those.
Can you give us just a outline or a map?
2025, you'll be able to. And they look very much like cigar cylinders. They don't even have to be that much propelled. I mean, they can be atomically propelled. And they certainly are of less cost than any of these rocket ships. Not only that, but they don't tear the ozone layer.
This is years and years away, but can you give us just an idea or a glimpse of how they will be open? How will we do it?
Well, as the world is progressing towards this, like Gene says, apparently this movie has come out. Okay, now all they have to do is figure out, you see, before, people didn't know what Gnosticism was, and they certainly didn't know what the other side was, and they only thought that you died and stared at God. I mean, that's what everybody believed. Or you went to Golden Gates, or you were an angel with a harp. Now, by this, and what she did do, apparently, I didn't see the movie, because like I said, all I see is dots going through the hair, and it makes me... but if you had a cylinder that was jet propelled by atomic fuel, you could probably get as far as Venus, maybe even Mars.
This was powered by the gravity of the black hole.
Well, no. She must have got into a Bermuda Triangle, or what we call the wormhole.
They tried to shift warp. They tried to warp space artificially with magnets.
Well,
You're
but
right,
see,
yeah,
that
that's
part was wrong. But if she would have been in a place where she could have, I think it's very amazing, though, don't you, that Cape Canaveral is in Florida.
Triangle, yeah.
But in regard to his question, though, isn't it right, Francine, we have to see it first, believe it before it becomes a reality?
Well, yeah,
Right
but
now
some
we're
scientists, like wherever this was, will eventually figure it out.
how to do it.
Because they're studying the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting to the point they just can't believe that people are disappearing into this nothingness. Eventually, it was only seem common sense that they think, maybe this could be a pathway to something. Maybe this is a cave to something. Maybe this is an opening to something. Yes.
Well, relative to that, like the portal then would be relative to basically the superstring theory, where it's a two-dimension and you step through the dimension, and it would be an hourglass where the singularity is actually concentrated down, and that's why it's white light, because that's where we actually do see the horizon.
Absolutely.
The bent horizon is pulling
It's
in.
bent.
So if we learn how to control the molecular structure of our cells, we should be able to compress and then reassociate.
Absolutely. You could, it's catapulting. It's
So
called
basically what
catapulting.
you're doing is going and turning around.
Absolutely.
And compressing down, and then we're going to learn, rather than disassociation, it's going to be reassociated. So we'll be able to spring back to what we were.
Absolutely.
And that'll be the crossover point.
That's right.
So we go through the singularity.
That's right. And you see, if they just had enough sense, even if they had some kind of, like you say, catapulting even mechanism, they could
Right.
get pretty far.
And
Because you see, in this Bermuda Triangle, there are what they call the way stations. I don't mean WEIGH. I'm talking about the WAY stations, where they would be met by entities.
And like Kirk was saying that they heard for 3 days the guy screaming. He wasn't screaming for 3 days. That was disassociated from our time and space.
That's right.
So he had slipped through.
Absolutely.
Our perceptions were. That
His
that time
timeline was gone.
elongated.
Absolutely.
So-
It's an echo of what he was. It's an echo.
So the singularity causes the relative speed up of time and
That's
space.
now okay. Now
into
you've got
Einstein's
Einstein.
theory. And we're
Einstein.
actually into the unified theory again, where we take back
That's
the
right.
cell memory.
That's right.
So we
Exactly.
cross over. So the portal is actually that superstring theory, where it is two dimensions. It's just like turning the page.
That's right. The same as you can do with your cell memory if you go back in time. See, you're timeless then.
There's singularity.
Exactly. That's right. That's a very good association you made there, Roger. Yes.
When the Star People came to settle this planet,
Yes.
did all five
Colonize.
Did all five races come at the same time? And did they come from different?
The black race came first. The Asians came second. The Indian or Aztec American Mayan came third. And the what we call the Caucasian came last.
Did they come like?
They came very close together. It just was a matter of not simultaneously, but sort of staggered.
So, fun introduction to why isn't there a connection of evolution from apes to humans? We're learning about our physical origins, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting stuff. If anyone has questions about the Bermuda Triangle, go for it. I know that she mentioned that next year, 2025, we were going to have a discovery about the Bermuda Triangle. We'll see if that happens or not. I was thinking about it, I was like, go for it.
No, I did. I seem to recall that the Ark of the Covenant has something to do with it. Now, what I have, and to my best of my understanding, it hasn't been dug up yet. But I did see some funny posts. But I kind of think of the post on, I think it was YouTube or something, that I think of that style of post is more like tabloid stuff that people are just trying to get hits from. But somebody did say they claimed to find the Ark of the Covenant. Maybe they'll find another tool. Maybe they'll find that and make sense out of it without killing somebody.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So a question that we have is, can someone explain singularity? I'm going to say that I am not. Physics was like the thing that I was the worst at in back in the days of school. But what I understand is that a singularity is a place where the regular laws of physics have kind of started to break down or have completely broken down. So the one that we kind of are the most familiar with is in the case of a black hole. A black hole is a place that has so much mass that it is sucking everything in, and not even light can escape, and not like nothing can escape, and it just gets into just compacted down. It's a trash compactor of the universe. But in that process, the regular laws they're just broken down. They've just broken down. So that is the description of that is the idea of a singularity. Anything more than that, and I'm hesitant to try to take a stab at. So what she's saying is that what she was saying in that conversation with Roger in the audience is that it sounds like inside these portals, this portal system that has apparently waypoints, which is really interesting, the regular laws of physics are not working the way that we on the outside would expect. Mm-hmm. That is my personal takeaway. I'm not going to go so far as to say that there's a black hole in these things. Bro, I don't know. I have no idea. What my takeaway from this is that the laws of physics just are not working the way that we would normally expect when we interact with the world on the day-to-day basis.
You're talking in reference to being in the wormhole in the
wormhole, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I lost track of it, but now, yes, that makes sense, because in the wormhole, you're not in our dimension that we're in now. and yes, yes, gravity does affect the local, what's the right word, dimension, by time and space. And depending on what black holes adjust that. Other planets, have different gravity. It's in that wormhole that it's its own. I think it's its own, and you're right. It's, as you're saying, it's not influenced by anything around it, because it's going through. It's going like Swiss cheese, finding a path, and is not influenced by this dimension and everything that's in within this dimension. It's in a different dimension, as it were. And I think of way if I'm understanding the waypoints properly, it's kind of like you're on a bus traveling across the desert, and once in a while there's a stopping point. And maybe there's a diner there or something, or restroom or restaurant or something. That's what I'm thinking of. If I hope that's an accurate idea. And you
that would be
get
such
back
a
on
cool
and
sci-fi
keep
show.
going again. So continue on.
It'd be a cool sci-fi comedy or something like that. The
Yeah.
way station in the center of the universe. Ugh. Anyway, I don't know. Some comments. Gibson says, "Watch Star Trek." Yes, Trekkies. Kristen shares, "They opened and closed. Haven't heard much from the Bermuda Triangle." Yeah, I haven't heard much lately, but I also know that the Pentagon, when they did their big like UFO or UAE thing over the last year or two, I think there were some references to that area of the world. I don't know. I need to go do some more digging. Esteban Lopez on Facebook says, "I had an amazing astral travel to another galaxy during college." That is cool. "It was phenomenal, and I came away with such a spiritual experience." That is glorious. I had something similar happen to me once too, as an astral travel to some other planet. It was amazing. It's amazing. In my experience, I saw a culture that had just absolutely beautiful buildings that were all mostly dark blue, and but the roofs were copper and shining, and so it was this amazing, so artistic.
Wow.
Just really, really, really beautiful, seeing all these dark blue buildings and copper gleaming. It's really pretty. Good. I'm glad that the explanation sounds like it answered the question somewhat. So that's good. I know that that when they're talking about black holes, the law of physics that breaks down so intensely, it breaks down to the point where things are not three-dimensional anymore, not two-dimensional anymore, but they're only one dimension. I can't even wrap my hand around that. I can't begin to wrap my head around that. And then on top of that, what we've been told as Gnostics is that in the center of these things, there is a portal to like God's brothers, to Father God's brothers. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, here's another fun one that just kind of popped into mind. I believe Francine was just referencing, or Larry mentioned his description of how Francine sees movies. He said something to the effect of, or she said something to the effect of, all she sees is dots flying through the air. That's the photons from the projector, or whatever's presenting what we would see as a screen. That's the thing presenting the light, and that's all she's seeing. Is to my understanding. So it gives you a fun thing to wrap your mind around and say, "Ooh," and by all means, ask your guide to give you bug your guide to give you like an example, either an analogy or a visual that would give you a sense of what is being described. Now, the challenge is we're in human form. We think this is all there is. So it's even Francine has a challenge trying to describe these things to us.
Yes. So got one. Yes, Gibson asks, like the copper pennies with shields I keep finding? Yes, exactly. Gleaming, a beautiful copper. Just gorgeous. No patina. Just gorgeous copper. And that's what I saw. It was lovely. Somebody asks, have y'all heard of CERN? What exactly is that thing? Okay, that is another physics station that we have here on Earth, and what they do is they send little tiny particles and they send them like flying at huge speeds and just smash things together, and they are looking for like clues about what happens when you break physics, when you break as is physics. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to like do these really, really interesting experiments to try to really expand our understanding of these things that could lead into,
And
time travel. And stuff like that. Yeah, they're trying to break down physics.
Validate our physics calculations.
Yes, exactly.
The calculations say it's possible. We just haven't figured out how to physically manifest it. When you said CERN, is that because I thought I just remember hearing somebody talking about up west of Stanford College, there's a really long accelerator that crosses under the freeway up there, and I want to think that's what that is by name, because one of our local stations did a short podcast on that facility.
Oh, I don't know.
And I want to think it's called CERN. That was my, I guess my.
CERN, I think, is in Europe.
Oh, okay. That's the big toroidal thingy underground.
Yeah, it's.
They're trying to do fusion, though, if I remember right.
Yeah,
all right. Well, there's your homework, everybody. Go look it up.
They're looking for dark matter, and I don't know. They're smashing things together and seeing what happens, and bless them.
Yeah.
This is great. I am not a physicist. I wish I could answer these questions better, but doing my best. All right. So shall we move on to our last segment, I guess?
Yay.
I'm just glad that our tech is working. All right. So last one. Most Novuites came with Andromeda colonizers. The Pleiades planets are Spartan, spiritual, and desert-like. Andromedan culture is colorful and eccentric. When fundamentalists die, people on the other side rotate being on uptime to orient the fundamentalists, which is a very dislikable experience. And grains of truth in religion.
Cool. Let's go listen to the grains.
Do we know where they came from?
Everyone started in the African continent.
No.
Everyone.
From
Other galaxies.
Some came. Most everybody that we know that are of the Novuite group, whether black or white, came from the Andromeda.
Not the Pleiades?
No. Some have gone to the Pleiades. I know how they've always drummed up the Pleiades to be so spiritual. Actually, the Pleiades is a very nice place, but it's sort of a deserty, depressing. Think of Death Valley and think of it with a few domes sitting around. I mean, it's not someplace I like to visit very often. People are very spiritual, but very Spartan. The Andromedans, on the other hand, are very upbeat, very colorful, very flamboyant, very eccentric, very spiritual, very charismatic. And all of us have been there more than we have the Pleiades. Pleiades is someplace to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there.
I know you've promised to do a full session on the origins of the races.
That's what we were going to do, and also the hierarchy of everything.
We're going to do that later, but I would like to pursue that whole topic.
Oh yes, and to dispel that whole Tower of Babel.
We'll do that in
I'll do
Full
that the
detail.
next time, because it was very good that you brought that up, because I think it's very important to know that, you see, and the Garden of Eden is not in Africa, but it's superimposed on Africa, because so when they say the African continent, so that's where people came into, not the Adam and Eve theory, but where they colonized. Yes.
You had said once that with certain people of different belief systems, that when they cross over to the other side, you sometimes put a show on for them, so they see what they are to
Think
expect.
they're supposed to see.
Yeah.
We do the trumpets and everything.
This is just a question. There's a lot of fundamentalists that are.
Oh God, yeah.
When they come over, do you give them the real thing, or do you put on a show?
Oh no, we don't put on any show for them.
Good.
No.
I just wondered about that.
Give them a harp on a cloud.
No, we really, I don't want to say we're unkind, because there's no such thing on our side. But we don't put on any pretensions. We lay it out. This is the way it is, and
Because in their life, they lay it out that there's no other way but.
that's right. So we have to come back to shake them back into their own reality. We have to come on as, I don't want to say harsh, but we come on as strongly as they have come on.
Did you not
Realistic.
once explain to us that the fundamentalists of our day are the hardest to orientate?
Oh, they are. In fact, we are all what we call on the uptime. In other words, there's a certain group of us that are on the uptime, which means that we have
Active
to go
duty.
and, yes, active duty for the fundamentalists. And see, on my side, we can't say we're sick. We can't say we have something else to do, because everybody knows what you're doing. No, we can't say too much traffic. We can't say that our husbands are mad, or our wives are, our children are sick. We can't use any of those, so we just have to do it. But there isn't anything that we, let's use the term dislike more. Because they always come over, as one of my guide friends said, with their dukes up. I mean, they're ready to go at it.
They probably think you're Satan.
Well, they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Now, if you give them a little time, they reorientate, and then you can see them shake their head and remember that they were here before, and want to know why they got so far afield of what it was. But I always tell them, which in many ways is truth, is you had to go down as a negative antithesis in order for people to bounce off of you. And there are many of them that are very good, but we always hear of the ones that are rabid and fanatical and yes.
Billy Graham, is he going to?
Go over soon. Yes, he is. Yes. And we expect to have a big welcoming party for him. And our Lord said he really does want to meet him and tell him, well done, good and faithful servant. Yes.
I'm always amazed about the similarities between the different religions. Like, they just call it different names.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like Sylvia said jokingly, it doesn't matter if you call God George. It doesn't matter. The Buddhist God is the same God. The Taoist God is the same God. The Taoist God is the same God. The Protestant God. And the fundamental truth, you see, what religion has done is screwed people up with their dogma, their fear. Because fear made good business and good money. That's what screwed up the spiritual. Because like Sylvia said, if you have fear, you cannot have love. And God is all loving. But yes, there's a grain of truth in the religion, because when Sylvia started this, they said you will never hold people because you're only doing it with love and understanding and forgiveness. And she has. She has. Because people got so far afield of wanting to be saved that they really began to be half crazy. It's no different. I'm not poking fun at any special race of people, but even the mafia used to buy pews and stained glass windows because this assured them of going to heaven. Or it's the same thing as in Mexico, all those poor people giving to all the churches to make it rich, and or the Vatican was the same thing, so that they could secure a place in heaven.
But in the Bible, in the Old Testament, we see again and again that the Jewish people are not allowed to look around and adopt any other religions. And I wonder, why is that?
Because they were so afraid that they were going to lose their group. See, it's the same thing as Catholicism doesn't allow people to go to other churches. See, every church is so afraid for them to lose their money-making people. See, to have a big congregation meant nothing but the wealth of the church. See, Sylvia's wealth has always been in people, not what they bring in their pocketbook.
Amen.
But yes, the grain of truth. But the grain of truth gets so hidden in all of the dogma. What's a sin? What isn't a sin? How you should believe, how you should pray. When it's all very, very so simple. And our Lord screamed this from one mountain to the other, from one sermon to the other. Love your neighbor, be kind. If you were a child, you'd understand. Don't make it complicated. And what do? We made it complicated.
So how do we uncomplicate it for ourselves? There you go. Sorry. How do we uncomplicate it for ourselves? That's our individual challenge. That's what our part of our lesson is, and
Absolutely.
And there are tools that you can read about.
Yes.
That Sylvia's provided, Francine has shared with us.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's nice to hear things put so simplistic, because that simplicity makes it just, there's something about it that's very clarifying. So the one that I'm thinking about right now is just her saying that it was the fear that made everything so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Fear and religion. Get these, and it makes me so angry about cults, is that cults will take something to be like, hey, we're the alternative to whatever dogma that you are, railing against, and here's like some extra grains of truth. Here's a little bit of extra grains of truth, and
I'll tell you what's right.
Yeah, and people are so desperate for like that knowledge. They just want that truth like so intensely, and
the challenge is it's knowing what resonates with you. But then again, that's part of the lesson of being here, is listening to them. Does that resonate to you, or are you just giving up and letting them tell you and you accepting their truth?
Yes, exactly. A question that we have in chat, Tori asks, who did they say would make it to the other side soon? I believe it was Billy Graham.
Yeah.
And they've spoken well of him, and they've spoken highly of him in the past. I don't think that they said he was a mystical traveler, but he might have been one of the other levels of Nouvoites. And that they were really kind of shocked to hear that he sometimes felt like he hadn't done enough and hadn't.
He's not worthy.
He's not worthy, which is terribly sad.
Yeah. That's his expression of
sure.
His worth and his view of God, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments, or do we want to jump on
Yes.
to?
Yes, I'll say one more. I'll say one more comment. Morgan over on YouTube. Hi, Morgan. She says, "I'm Native American. Always burning sage is a deep ancestral thing. It's a plant and said to have many cleansing properties more than just burning. And I just want to say we 1,000% respect whatever people want to want to do. And I think that we're just
reminded of Francine said, was talking to the lady who was asking about it, saying, "Hey, I use that," and Francine was saying, "Well, I'm not so concerned about you because of I know your
Oh,
spirituality.
well put. Yes.
I know your spirituality. So it's how you use it. It's just for and great if you're putting energy into it. That's great. Use the things. These are just suggestions of because of those items have been used in a negative fashion for a long time. In general, we just don't recommend it. Would you run around and bless people with swastika? No, because it's got that common connotation. So it's that's all general rules, and if that really, yeah, general rule, and if it's a serves you and it really brings light out of you, great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she was coming at it with the intention of saying, here's the additional things that we see from the other side regarding like this or this.
Right.
And that she's always been forthcoming about her perspective as a spirit guide of certain symbols being used by people who are trying to use them in a bad way. And so she's just being forthcoming as a spirit guide, but I'm so glad that you brought up, Tom, that she said, well, I'm not worried about you with Sage because of your spirituality and you're using it in a very intentional spiritual ways. So I hope that helps. It's just an offering, and that's what, I'm just always excited to listen to these together with everybody else and see what Francine's insights were. So I respect you too. Thank you so much for sharing your truth. Appreciate it. All right. I guess one last question. If Father God is Sandalwood, what scent is Mother God? Do we know? Yes, Mother God is lilac, and Francine's is jasmine. So commentary there is like, you can, if you put lilac and sandalwood together, and you can imagine the synergy of just how just incredible that is together. So
fun.
Good question. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. And Tom, what should we do next?
I don't know. We can twiddle our thumbs. Does anybody feel like they'd get relaxation out of twiddling their thumbs on the? Nope. I guess it's
twiddling. Okay.
Time for a meditation. So, for those of you that want to participate, we encourage you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful healing energy. And I gotta find. We were gonna listen to this one last week, but I think we got sort of cut off, abruptly cut off. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand. And for the rest of us, we are going to enjoy this rejuvenation. So
find a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now close your eyes when you are ready.
A shower of stars. I want you to see behind your eyes a beautiful glowing star in the night sky. This star is blue, as they so often seem when we look at them. There are shoots of red, white, and silver around its corners. Now you are not just looking at it, you actually become part of it. You are the star. It is inside you, emanating the magnitude of your soul. Your greatness and beauty are now radiating. Also, the star's points are pushing out any and all negativity. To an outside observer, it might appear that you are streaking downward, but you are just gently descending in the dark sky. At first, in the fall, you feel afraid and somehow lost. You feel isolated. But hush. In the dark sky, you seem to feel the refraction of light, and you look over and there is another star. Lo and behold, as you look behind you, there are lots of stars falling with you. Your star does not intercept the light of others. We're falling together, shooting out our love of God, right action, non-judgment, even a feeling of passivity. We're streaking across the dark world with the light. Listening closely, you hear little yelps of happiness, because together we make a big, huge light. The other stars join our cluster, and we feel the bond of starlight that even joins the Star of Bethlehem, showing the light, the way, and the truth. Notice now your feeling of contentment and deep peace, your sense of will and your judgment center. Feel the strength of your backbone, insulated from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Feel the quiet peace and the benediction from God, Mother Asna, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit that surround us. Go out from today with peace in your heart and try to get someone else to pick up the thread. God love you.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally awake. Find a comfortable place to sit.
All right.
Man,
Welcome back.
I was like all over the place with that one. Fun. Well, while everybody is regaining consciousness or some form of cognitive abilities. If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to cat@novus.org and tom@novus.org. Of course, we appreciate listeners both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, subscribing, finding our websites, finding us on Facebook, look for us on YouTube, and you'll discover us on Discord. We do have a study group program where you'll learn more about our philosophy, and you get a newsletter and a monthly Sunday service CD. So check that out. That's what at this time, that's what the membership feature is on our website. Let's see, church services. There are several ways that you can participate. I post a Sunday service on Facebook and YouTube on the first Sunday of each month. In addition, if you want to participate in a live Sunday service, you can either go to Las Vegas or Reverend Alan Schloss hosts a special Zoom service on another Sunday. They actually live stream their Sunday service in Las Vegas. So check those out. Put your email on the website and you should get an invitation. Now's the time for the novena I told you I would describe about. The novena, what we're going to do as a group, regardless of when you're watching this, we are all going to say together this phrase 3 times. The phrase is, I am God, I am part of God, I am God. All things are possible because I am God. So we'll say that together 3 times, and I'll tell you what you want to ask for after each time we ask it. So we're going to do that 3 times. And just follow along and say it with me. Now, what does this apply to? This is a prayer that Francine has provided for us. And why? Why is this important? I think it's because it follows along with our tenet number 10. Let no one convince you that you are less than a God. Do not let fear imprison your spiritual growth. So let's all get started. And think of us, we're all holding hands together because that energy is going to get zip around all of us and get out where it needs to go. So let's all visualize that we're holding hands together and I'll get us started. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay, here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for others. Okay, here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. And along those lines, think of something over the last week that you're appreciative of and keep that as a memory for the rest of this week because that's going to help keep you elevated and uplifted. And of course, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge, and for Sylvia for coming to the Insane Asylum of the Universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. Asna for helping us and protecting us, and Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy your unique spark of curiosity. Appreciate Bob Ingle for helping with some of the graphics and audio, and Sammy and Javon for our theme music, which is so wonderful to listen to. For the show, writing, setup, and hosting is Reverend Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now, a prayer by Sylvia. Don't mind the man behind the curtain. Where are we here? One of those and one of those. Nope. No, that is right. Okay. All right. Sorry. Here we go.
Prayer to our beloved Mother God Asna. My beloved Asna, let your mantle surround us and protect us. Our Mother, we address you as a miracle worker, the glorious vehicle of intercession and healing support. We petition you as a queen and guardian of the world to bring your grace and beneficence into our lives. We adore and honor you as a companion of our blessed Creator, God the Father. We accept you as a counterpart of our creation and give our hearts and souls to you in service. We know you can help us fulfill our preordained chart for our own perfection. We also know that we may petition you for our needs and desires. Please state your petitions here. Dearest, glorious Mother, Queen of the universe, our love is endless and our devotion is unwavering. Protect us from the failings of our own egos. Protect us from the negativities of life and the darkness that can surround us. Let your life of emotional understanding be a reflective shield against any evil. If we fail to remember you each day, dearest Mother, remember us and be waiting for us at the end of our lives so we can behold your glorious countenance. We ask this in the name of the Mother, Father, and Christ consciousness. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
Love you very much. God bless. And we'll see you next week. Good night.
For so long we have ignored you as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You